So before I begin this, I want to apologize to everybody who sees my usual content. I usually do entertainment commentary, stuff like that. I can't. There's so many correlations in our lives. There's lessons everywhere. Like the universe gives us examples of things, gives us warnings, throws little messages at us through other people, through events, through things that we come in contact with that we see about the world around us all the time. All the time. You just pay attention to it. A lot of times we ignore these things because of our ego or how we feel about whatever it is we're seeing, whether it's religiously or whether it's the government, our political affiliation, what we like, what we don't like, who we like. There's a lot of filters that a person has to get through to understand what God or the universe or just the world around us is trying to tell us. Signs everywhere. A lot of the things that we've seen in the last several years has been a wake-up call. And I don't just mean from one direction. I don't just mean from entertainments, because we've seen what's happened in Hollywood. We know it. You know, if we've been paying attention, if you're usually watching my content or the people that cover stuff like me, that you know that there's been a concerted effort to push narratives that aren't necessarily the truth, or narratives that only a small group of people within the context of this entire country, the United States of America, right? Really densely populated, but areas that do not represent all of us, the way that we think. We do an awful lot of preaching about, and as far as those of us who have been fighting for our modern myths, fighting against the propaganda that comes out of entertainments and Silicon Valley and Hollywood and these actors, these privileged people in society who don't give a damn about you or me. Don't give a damn. These rich folks, they're playing games. Silicon Valley playing games. Newspapers, or most of it coming out of these densely populated areas like New York City, LA, North Jersey. And they don't represent all of us. We're very different. We're very different as individuals. And it's funny that we have seen the elites trying to segregate us into these little check boxes, trying to point out all of our differences in a negative way. I think individuality is great. I think it's a positive thing. I think not everyone not having the same perspective or disposition has a different perspective, has more information and experience within the short lifespans that we have that can help us grow, see things differently, whether we agree or disagree. There's a lot of different types of individuals in this world, let alone just the United States. People who see things differently. And those in these densely populated areas, the echo chambers all around them, every day, all day, in their businesses, in their papers, in their social media, they're singers and they're actors, and these privileged people in society that the pretty people that get promoted constantly. And most of them all share the same beliefs and the same ideology and the same really divisive rhetoric. And I truly believe that most of them don't even understand what they're saying. Like they don't care. They don't care what they're saying. They just want to stay privileged, stay with the in crowd. They hear that echo chamber all the time, and they just capitulate. They don't even care. They're not even thinking. They just know they're rich and wealthy, and all the other people around them that are rich and wealthy are saying this, and they're going to say it to stay on the same team. There's exceptions to that rule out there. We've watched for years as people in positions of power in entertainments have used that influence to press their beliefs on you, on others, on everyone, and tell you if you don't believe in them, then you're wrong. preaching about diversity and inclusivity and all that garbage, and then blaming you, shaming you if you have a different opinion. Because they don't care. None of them care. None of them. And we've seen what happens in just a small corner of entertainments recently when people come together. It took one of these rich, privileged asshats who don't give a damn about you or me, not a damn, Pablo Hidalgo, coming at the wrong person's neck, insulting the wrong person, right? That's all it took. No, never mind that everybody and those people over there have been doing that forever. They've been doing it for years and years. They came at the wrong person, and that's what it took for enough people to stand up and recognize that there was a problem. Not everybody, but enough well-known people, well-liked people to come together from different perspectives, different ways of handling how they felt about what was going on there in entertainments, for some kind of a change to have happened. And it took years and years and years of individuals, some of whom had to build their voices and get that voice heard, for us to get some kind of change, some kind of understanding of what we were complaining about. Whether you liked it or not, Luke Skywalker at the end of The Mandalorian. That's what happens when truly different people come together and refuse to kneel, keep speaking out, refuse to accept false narratives. That's what unity can bring. It can bring change. The reason I bring that up is because for decades, for a long time, if you've been following politics, if you haven't, I understand, because you have a mindset like myself, I had for a very long time, which was both of these parties are the same thing. Two sides of the same coin. They're getting paid by the same special interest groups or people behind those groups. They don't care about us. Those people, those individuals in the people's house are the same damn thing as Hollywood, Silicon Valley, newspapers, media, all of it. All that echo chamber. And some of them act just different enough so that there is an illusion of choice, of differing opinion. There are exceptions to the rule here and there. But as a general rule, it's the same damn thing. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. Democrat, Republican, they're the same damn thing. Have been for a long time. They just want to stay in power. They just want to stay wealthy. And if they are around an echo chamber of other people who are all saying the same thing, they're going to regurgitate that. They're going to want to stay with the in crowd. How long, how much longer are we going to take it? All of us individuals who live different lives. It doesn't matter how many similarities you have. Doesn't matter if you're descendant from the same group of people, or you go to the same church, or you like the same political party. We're all different. We're all of us very different people. How long are we going to allow this system that is obviously broken, that does not care about us? The people's house was ransacked yesterday. The people came to the house. The people came to the house because they had a problem. They went to the source of the problem. Because just like in entertainments for the last several years, where you have had people consistently calling out garbage, calling out access media, calling out shills, calling out all the echo chamber garbage, all the false narratives and the labels and all that shit. A lot of us stood up and fought that, but how many years did it take to affect even a small change? We're talking about a system that has been in place for a long time. Well, one hand has always been hidden to us. One parts of this scheme, this pyramid scheme called our federal government. One hand has always been hidden to us. Always. And it doesn't matter how much one of these politicians talk out about the other, they are all on the same team. They can stay on that team for as long as they want because there's no term limits. All the backroom deals and all the bankers and all the people, all the special interests and everyone that's muddied the waters, every mistake these politicians have ever made that somebody has on tape somewhere so that they have leverage to make sure that they do what they want them to do. All of it over a lifetime politicians. That's scary. This country fought against monarchy. Yet we have institutionalized politicians that stay in office damn near their entire lives, with all that dirt and all that history that they muck through while trying to remain in power and dealing with the wealthy, like not just the wealthy, but the super elite wealthy, those that really make the decisions, that can control with their money the direction of power. They remain in office. This past year taught us anything. It should have taught us anything. It's that, not just that our votes don't matter. Not just, let's break that illusion. Let's just destroy that. So that was one of the last vestiges of hope that I had. And I've always been a person who was like struggled to even want to go and vote. Because deep down inside, I understood. There's two people running for that highest office, or there's, basically two main people running for each office, this two-party system. And both parties don't give a damn about us, the peasants. They don't give a damn. None of them. There's only so much bitching you can do from behind a screen. And at this point, we have seen, as I said before, we have seen how the media comes together, social media, Silicon Valley. We've seen how these people come together to press a certain narrative. They're all about pushing one side of the argument because in their eyes, and I mean from the state level, from the federal level down, in their eyes, no matter what they say, no matter what party they say they're attached to, they're all a part of that same ideology, which at its source is keeping people divided. Keeping the plebs, keeping the peasants, keeping us divided, fighting amongst one another for breadcrumbs. Why they keep all the power. That's a common thread. I don't care what side of the aisle you support or where you sit. That's what it's about. It's not about us. It's not about we the people anymore. Hasn't been in a while. It's about those the rich. We see what can happen when we come together in short spurts. We see what unity can bring when people of varying perspectives come together and all agree, yeah, this is crap. We don't want this. And as far as like entertainment, it's taken years and years and years, and it's taken years, steadily, slowly growing. There's been these big moments that I've seen. There's been these big moments that happen where a lot of people come together. As far as Star Wars, it was throwing out the expanded universe. And then it was The Force Awakens. It was little by little increments of people just getting upset. And then The Last Jedi came out. And most of the damn fandom were just, no, this is garbage. And then the attacks began. Then the emboldened attacks began. That's when... there was happening here and there before, but that's when people working at Disney Lucasfilm started feeling emboldened to attack fans. You can't do nothing to stop us. Joke's on you. We're still getting paid. We're going to make what we want. We're going to say what we want. We're going to call you what we want. They don't care. And that was because you had the media, the social media, the access media. That's when you had the media just backing them up. Yeah, the fans are toxic. Yeah, these people, just all that garbage. Because they know they have the power. They know it. They have the money, they have the influence, they have control over our media. It's the same thing in politics, man. It is the same thing as what we have just seen. We just went through a year where we just went through a few years. And y'all remember, God, a couple years ago, like, I don't know what it was about Donald Trump that triggered these people. I don't know, honestly, what it was. But you have politicians out in the streets literally calling for people to harass others. They're not staying on the plantation. They're not doing what we want them to do. You need to go after them. And then it became racist hate groups, domestic terrorist groups, just burning down cities, burning down and destroying and looting, causing all kinds of havoc and disorder. The same people that were calling for heads, quiet, all quiet. And yeah, you had some people on the other side of the aisle who were condemning this, but what did they really do? Nothing. What did they really do? Not a damn thing. We saw this coming with this plan to scare everyone in society. Keep us home, keep us separated, keep us eating up social medias. Keep you on Twitter, keep you on Facebook, where they can regulate all information. On YouTube, where we have just been told, just straight out, if you have a differing opinion about what happened in this election, if you question the results, if you question things that should have been audited that were not audited, inconsistencies that were not looked into by our own government, we're going to kick you off. We're going to silence you. You're a dissident. You're not regurgitating what we need you to say, what we need you to think. By the way, government's going to keep you home for the next few months, and we want you to watch our content where we regulate how you think. We've seen this going on for years now. We've seen it for years. We should know by now that by the time it came to what has happened in the last 2 months, where there have been obvious inconsistencies reported, video evidence of inconsistencies or questionable acts or questionable things that have transpired out of the ordinary, completely out of the ordinary. After we've been kept at home, segregated from everybody else, dependent upon just social medias for contact, where that regulation takes place, that regulation of information. And then we had a whole new system, a whole new system of doing things for a process that we have done every 4 years since the formation of this country. And any question, if you question any of the irregularities, anything that could possibly be considered an irregularity or a problem, something that needs to be looked into. Not only did your government, if you live in the United States, but for myself, not only did my government, my federal government, who may just be too powerful, who may be regulating over too many different types of people, they told us that it didn't matter. There's nothing to see here. Don't look behind the curtain, like right in our faces. And damn near every Republican went in lockstep behind staying in power, which was going with the echo chamber, going with everybody else. Showing the true colors of this house, which is not divided. Our house is not divided. They play like it is. They act like it is. They give us crumbs, but they don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about staying in power, and they're just flaunting it. It's just out there. They're flaunting it. just like people in Hollywood have been doing for years. Because they've got everything in their pocket. They're the wealthy. They're the elite. They control. When is it going to be enough? When is it going to be just too much? I'm done. I have zero faith in the system at this point. I have zero faith in the system. I mean, that's where I was before I got re-engaged in politics. And that was only because I saw what was going on in entertainments and recognized the correlation between the two in the system. The system doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. It's so obvious and in our faces at this point. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. This machine that we have allowed over decades to continue to build strength and influence and power over our very lives and regulate the living hell out of us, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep growing. We can affect a change. People can come together from different outlooks and affect a change. Unity can create change. But in my opinion, at this point in time, I don't see how that any real change can happen with the establishments that are in power stay in power. All of them. It's time to go. You need a clean sweep. Now, fire all of them. They got to go. The system needs to be changed. The entire system needs to be changed. If we have a system of government that is supposed to be by and for the people, yet has initiated lockdowns that do not make sense, suffocated small businesses, the ones that were left after the ones that got burned, suffocated those small businesses, destroyed lives. That's not for the people. That's not in the interest of the people. And if we see an election take place where not only is there things out there, I gotta even watch what I say because I can get kicked off. I get kicked off YouTube for questioning the narrative. And that's sad. There was enough inconsistencies that had gone on that needed to be investigated, and not by Twitter fact checkers or YouTube fact checkers or Facebook fact or any of these fact checkers that are just propagandists. They're not checking facts. They're checking the narrative. Are you towing the right narrative? Are you saying what we need you to say? All right, good. Then you're cleared. You are a fact. If our own government tells us that they're not going to question that, they're not going to audit it, they're not going to look seriously into this, investigate, wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't everyone want that? If there truly is a two-party system, wouldn't everyone want that? We do not want this process questioned. We want to make sure that these results are legit because this is the integrity. This is one of the basis for the integrity of our country, of our electoral system. We want to make sure this is legit. But they didn't do that. And everybody's following in lockstep to make sure that narrative is regurgitated. Make sure that it's you got to think the right way. And you're not allowed to speak out against it. You're not allowed to question. You're not allowed to think for yourself. All of this stems from all of this and all of the various sectors involved. All of this stems from the wealthy wanting to stay wealthy and in power. That's all it is. That's all it is. I mean, I think we need a new system. We need a new system. We need a new Hollywood. We need a new everything. I'm done with it. Maybe we need a new system. Maybe it's broken. Maybe it has too much power. Maybe it's too corrupt. Maybe having career criminals, politicians in office, decade after decade, making policies that affect all of us, maybe that's a problem. I don't know. I thought we had a revolution against that idea. They all going to line up. They're all going to line up. Understand that right now. Your social medias. They're going to paint a picture that you're supposed to believe. If you do not agree with their version of the truth, their version of the truth, their reality, which may not line up with factual events, then you're going to get kicked out. You're done. You're not supporting the echo chamber. You're thinking critically. You're not kowtowing. You're not bending to the will of the wealthy elite. So YouTube, this platform that I'm on, and I'm thankful. I am thankful to have this platform and to have a voice, which is neutered, has put this statement out due to the disturbing events that transpired yesterday. Disturbing events. You mean the people having a problem with politicians are going straight to their doorstep, knocking on it, the people's house, because they have an issue with not being taken seriously. I guess that would be a disturbing event to those who want to stay in power, keep us divided. And given that the election results have now been certified, starting today, any channels posting new videos with false claims in violation of our policies will now receive a strike. If you dare to question any of the evidence, if you dare to question the fact that none of the claims, the serious claims, were taken seriously by our government, that there may have been a problem, if you question that, you can't be here. We're going to give you a strike. That's your first warning. Over the last month, we've removed thousands of videos which spread misinformation, claiming widespread voter fraud changed the result of the 2020 election, including several videos President Trump posted to his channel. I think we all pretty much understand at this point, YouTube is not a free speech platform. It's not. But it's going beyond that at this point, in my opinion. It's going beyond that at this point. Now it's regulating thought. Don't question. Consume. And it's not just YouTube. All the social media. And they've been doing it. But now it's gotten to the point where they have so much power. They just don't care anymore. It's in your face. It's going to be the same old, same old. It's going to be the same old, same old. That has been for years. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse as long as we have people in power with no term limits. It's going to keep getting worse unless we all come together and keep making noise, keep trying for a change. And I don't mean act a fool. We've seen them far leftists. You know what? It's not even just far. I don't give a damn. Like I said, there are two sides of the same coin. The domestic terrorists, the racist hate groups, whatever you want to call them, that have been acting a fool for months and months because our government ain't doing nothing about them. If the government had been doing something about Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and if they had been doing something about this, then I wouldn't believe the way I do. But you haven't been doing anything about it. If anything, you've been supporting it. This is going to continue. And it's going to get worse. Because the same people are still going to be in power. Same wealthy elites. They're still in power. They're going to stay in power. They're going to keep us divided. Keep us fighting with one another. Giving us this pretend two-party system. Trying to make us hate one another because of our difference in skin tone. or sexuality or whatever type of change they can find, whatever they can do to throw in our face, dangle in front of us, whatever mentally ill person who thinks that they're whatever they can use to divide us, they're going to continue to do so. And you're going to have your singers, and you're going to have your actors, and you're going to have all your adult pretenders and your performers, people who are paid to be dancing monkeys, not political activists or social activists, not people who are paid to entertain and unite us, consistently trying to separate us. And as long as we bow down and kneel to social media platforms that are obviously pitching that type of division, that are trying to divide us, perpetuate misinformation, and back that up, call it a fact, stamp it with a fact checker or propagandist. As long as we accept this illusion that the people's best interests are at heart, then we're going to get the same old, and we deserve it. And we deserve it. If we finally fall into socialism and we ain't been standing up and doing our part to speak out against this, try and affect some change, we deserve it. Recent weeks, I saw what unity can do. Granted, much smaller scale. Star Wars fandom, much smaller scale. I saw people come together and say no more. A fandom. Most people in a fandom came together. No more. No more harassments. No more abuse. We're tired of what you're doing. What you're doing is garbage. What you're producing is garbage because you're allowing garbage stuff to happen in your house. You're allowing a garbage culture to exist. And you're pushing garbage. And Disney supports that garbage. But enough people came together. You see what unity can bring. It can affect change. It can affect change. Maybe incrementally. Maybe not exactly the change some people wanted. But it's something better. A little better. At least a recognition of the problems that people had with it. At least a little bit. People coming together can affect a change from different walks of life and different perspectives. We can do that again. We can do that with everything. New York City and Los Angeles does not reflect the entire country. Does not. Just does not. They are a bunch of rich people in those cities, in those densely populated areas. A bunch of wealthy elitists that control everything. What you see, what you hear, what entertainment you're given, what the narrative in the newspapers is going to be, what the policies are going to be coming out of the federal government. And they do not represent all of us. It's time for a change. It's time to stand up, be a little louder. It's just time to recognize the actual problem. Two sides of the same coin. Democrat, Republican, they're not for the people. They're always going to be for themselves first. Always going to be for themselves first. And the stories that we're going to get in the coming weeks, it's going to reinforce that. And what you're allowed to say on social media and the opinion you're allowed to express, you are allowed to express, can only reaffirm that. So my question is, when has it been enough? When has it been enough? And what are we going to do? Sorry, this one's a little different than most of the content I do, but given recent events, I just wanted to give my opinion on it. We got to be the adults. Remember that. A lot of kids out there acting wreck, and I mean adult kids too. You know, that the ones that sometimes it's difficult to be the adults in a situation when the kids are acting wild. It is. But we got to look out for each other. We can get through this. Be good to each other. Now more than ever, recognize the problem. Pay attention. And if you see something getting censored or fact-checked, look into it, because it's most likely the truth. Be good to each other. Peace.